The restaurant buzzed with quiet conversations and clinking glasses, the kind of place where rich businessmen like to prove how important they were by talking just a little too loudly. But amid all the chatter and the sound of sizzling steaks, one woman moved gracefully between the tables, a young waitress named Ayla. Her uniform was spotless though old, her shoes slightly worn from double shifts, and her eyes carried the kind of strength that only comes from silent battles no one else ever sees. She worked at the Silver Leaf, a five-star restaurant downtown where tips were generous but respect was often in short supply. Most of the servers feared the late-night bookings, the power tables, as they called them, because that's when the elite came in, with their expensive suits, ego-filled laughs, and careless words that cut deeper than knives. Ayla didn't have the luxury to refuse any table. Her mother was in the hospital, her younger brother's school fees were due, and she was barely holding her life together. That night, a black Rolls-Royce pulled up outside. Out stepped Mr. Damien Frost, a tech millionaire known for his arrogance and money, the kind of man who thought every person around him existed for his amusement. He walked in, followed by his friends, investors, influencers, and one young producer trying desperately to impress him. The manager straightened his tie and hurried toward Ayla, table 6. "Be careful, that's Mr. Frost and his party. They're demanding." She nodded, smoothing her apron and forcing a polite smile. When she approached, Mr. Frost was already laughing loudly about some idiotic translator he had fired earlier that day. He barely looked up when she spoke. "Good evening, sir. Would you like to start with drinks?" "Ah, the help speaks," he said mockingly. "Sure, sweetheart. Bring us your best wine, not that cheap stuff." His friends chuckled. Ayla didn't flinch. She simply nodded and walked away, but she could feel their laughter chasing her back to the counter. When she returned with the wine, Mr. Frost was waving a folder in front of his guests. "So, get this. I offered the position of Director of International Affairs to whoever could translate this document. It's in Mandarin, full of business slang, tech references, everything. And you know what? Not a single one of those top graduates could do it." He leaned back, smirking. "I told them, translate this, and you'll be a director by morning." His laughter echoed again, then his eyes flicked toward Ayla as she carefully poured the wine. "You speak English well. Tell me, sweetheart, can you translate Chinese?" The whole table erupted in laughter. Ayla froze for half a second, not in fear, but because the words hit something deep inside her. Her father had been a translator before he passed away. He'd taught her Mandarin when she was still in high school. She hadn't spoken it in years, not since life forced her to trade dreams for survival. She set the bottle down calmly. "Actually, sir," she said softly, "I can." The laughter stopped. Mr. Frost raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "You? A waitress? All right, sweetheart. Translate this." He slid the document across the table with a mocking grin. "Do that, and I'll make you a director tomorrow." Ayla took the pages, her heart thudding. The text was dense, technical, full of idioms and cross-industry jargon, the kind of translation only someone deeply fluent could handle. She read silently for a moment, and then, with perfect pronunciation, she began to translate line by line in fluent Mandarin, then back to English, explaining the meaning behind each cultural nuance. The table fell silent, every word from her mouth was confident, precise, and powerful. Even Mr. Frost leaned forward, his grin fading. When she reached the end, she looked him directly in the eyes and said quietly, "It's not just about money or status, sir. Understanding another language means understanding another world. Maybe that's something your directors were missing." For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then, one of Frost's business partners broke the silence with slow applause. "She's right," he said. "That translation was flawless." Frost tried to recover, forcing a laugh. "Well, I'll be damned. You've got some brains, I'll give you that." Ayla simply smiled. "Thank you, sir. Now, would you like me to bring dessert?" The table erupted in awkward laughter, but this time, it wasn't aimed at her, it was at Frost, the man who'd just been humbled by a waitress. By the end of the night, the businessman who had once mocked her left quietly, eyes lowered, while his partner discreetly slipped Ayla a card. "Call me tomorrow," he whispered. "We could use someone like you, someone who actually understands people." Ayla didn't cry, though her hands trembled when she tucked the card into her pocket. That night, as she walked home under the dim streetlights, her shoes aching and her heart racing, she looked up at the sky and smiled for the first time in weeks. The next morning, she called the number. Within a month, she was working as a junior international coordinator, her skills finally recognized. Her mother's hospital bills were paid, and her brother went back to school. As for Mr. Frost, he later admitted in an interview that a waitress once reminded me that real intelligence doesn't wear a suit. Ayla's story became a quiet legend among her co-workers, a reminder that no job defines your worth, and no title decides your destiny, because sometimes, the one serving your table might just be the most capable person in the room. And if you're still watching this, remember this moment, because Ayla's courage isn't just hers. It's a reflection of everyone who's ever been underestimated, mocked, or ignored but still kept fighting. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their worth goes far beyond what others see.